ShartimusPrime, ShartimusPrime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it. Taking bad hits, taking back hits. Subscribe for things.
Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Transformers action figure review on the Transformers Generations Studio Series Voyager class Starscream. If you're trying to get your Studio Series figures, you can do so right now at
Big! Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
Now, I think this is a retooled deluxe class Starscream from the past that I never picked up. You know, I do have several Starscreams, but this does look pretty awesome. I'd always wanted to get that. But anyway, nice image of Starscream right over there. On this side, you can see Starscream again. He's number 6, says Voyager class. And then on the back, you can see a couple of product shots. Read up over here, read up over there. Well, very short read up. And then there's some other figures from the Studio Series line. And then on this side, you get a nice image of Starscream. Then we get the cutout of the Autobot symbol over a Decepticon that always just looks weird to me. That just doesn't look right. And then on the top right there, you can see we get a sliver. And then on the bottom, there's not much going on. So let's get to it and crack this thing open. And here's Starscream out of the packaging, and not a bad looking jet mode at all. This F-22 Raptor looks awesome. You can see a bunch of bits right over here. You know, it's there, but it doesn't really bother me so much. It's fairly compact, especially when we get a look at the bottom of the figure a little bit later on. I really do like this piece, so let's get a closer look. So here's looking at the cardboard display backdrop that comes with Starscream, and again, yeah, these are kind of cool. You know, I can't get too excited for them. You know, they're kind of floppy and stuff, and looking at the figure, it doesn't really stand on there while he's in his alt mode at all. Then Starscream does come with one weapon, looking pretty neat. I like this, you know, nice copper colored paint right over here. We get this really dull gray plastic right there at the end, but yeah, it doesn't look too bad. And you can see these two ports right over here plug into the bottom, and you just port that into those two tabs right there, and that's pretty cool how that works out. It's not very intrusive at all, so I think that's pretty cool. I do like it. And looking at the rest of this figure while in jet mode, I really dig it quite a bit. I like that cockpit right there. You can even see the seat and everything, so that's pretty cool. Not many details underneath, you know, on the console, but still, I like that. That's pretty nifty. Very light colored Starscream. As I darken things, you can see more paint details, and it makes me very happy to see this fade that we're seeing right here with this really light bluish color. It's like a bluish gray color, and then it goes into this duller gray color right there. I think they did a great job with that. And I really like all these lines sculpted throughout right here. I guess you could see a little bit of inconsistency with this panel piece right over here. You know, that's just there due to transformation. Get all these little zigzag lines throughout. You get the Air Force symbol right there, looking great. And then you get the Decepticon symbol, looking really good too. So yeah, this gets a little shifty right here. Yeah, I wish this was all one smooth piece, but you could see it kind of pop down and then pop down even more so right there. You get the thrusters in the back, looking pretty cool. I like how pancaked this is. You know, it feels pretty flat as it should be. You know, it's a nice plane. I like it a lot. And then he has a landing gear. These wheels don't roll or anything. It's just, you know, they're stationary wheels, but you can, you know, retract them in and then port them in like that, and that's pretty awesome. And you could also put a Figma stand right in there, as you saw earlier. So he was on the stand earlier. That's great that you can get him on a flight stand. If that doesn't work out, you could use a different stand, like, I don't know, like this NECA stand, and fits perfectly in this port right over here. So that is pretty nifty. So yeah, you could use, I'm sure any other stand could fit into one of these ports somewhere, right? There's a lot of ports down there. I guess that's one downside of the figure, is that this whole underside of the figure looks kind of weird, right? But it doesn't really bother me because I'm mostly looking at the top of it. And to measure out this Starscream figure in his jet mode, you can see from nose to tail, he's at about 8 inches, and then standing at about, I don't know, 2.5 without those rear fins, 3.5. And then here's our Studio Series Starscream next to a couple other Voyager class Starscreams. We have the first Starscream figure from Transformers, then we have the Revenge of the Fallen Starscream right over here. And I think these all size up fairly well together. You know, I think they're all more or less the same size. I did lose one of the wings right over here. But yeah, you can see how bulky this first version is on the underside right there. It also had this whole function with the wheels making, you know, these things spin and shoot missiles and stuff like that. And you had extra missile storage right over there. But yeah, I do like this newer version. Definitely a much lighter color than the other two. And then here's Starscream next to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. So one thing I really like about this figure is that the transformation is not very difficult. So will you take us away, Bumblebee? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and remove this weapon, put that aside right there, and then fold up the landing gear. And then I'm gonna flop these down, and then we can actually go ahead and start with the legs over here. So well, I didn't mean to pull that up. I just want to get the legs popped out, moved out of the way, move these downward over here, and then we have this whole piece, or these wings can shift straight up, so you can see how they separate right there, and then shift that out, separate right there, and then move these upward. Then you can move this flap up and bend it back, and then you can separate the legs. Ooh, that's what he said. And if she said, I don't know. Depends either way, right? Anyway, you can move the feet out right there, and then you can go ahead and get these arms starting to move outward. Well, we could lift this flap right over here first, and then move this up, and then I like to move that down. And then we can get these arms kind of just swinging out away from the body. So this will just swing out like that, and this will swing out over here, and then we'll swing this out again like so. So we'll get the arms out of the way, then you could fold the hands out. They have two hinges right there, so hinge out and then hinge out once again. We'll get back to the arms in a moment, and then we could take this flap, lift this up right here, and then we could move the whole head and nose of the plane downward, and then we could fold this out and then fold this out. Do the same thing on this side. Fold this flap. These tend to pop off fairly easy. That's a little on the frustrating side. And then you can go ahead and move these in, and then they have little ports right over there, and then you have tabs right there. Just line everything up and get it all tabbed together, and right there. Fold that up, cover up his crotch, and then we can have these wings flattened. Lift that up and you can see we get two ports right over there, and this is just going to tab together in the very back, and then get this re-tabbed right here that just got undone. Let's see. Oop, see, like I said, these will pop off, so just got to make sure that this is all lined up correctly, because I think I got this moved. Yeah, I did move that by accident right there. So get that repositioned, and then get this put back in place. Okay, have that on correctly, and now I can re-tab. There that goes. Straighten out the legs, and then move the arms down. I like to have the shoulders out right there, and then rotate this just so that you can bend his elbow, and then you can give him his weapon, and now we have Starscream in his robot mode, and this looks great. I mean, I really did like the alt mode too, but man, this robot mode really pops for me. I really dig it a lot. Great articulation, great sculpt throughout. So yeah, let's get a closer look. Looking at the brand new Starscream head sculpt, and I like it. Or is this brand new? I've heard people say that this is a retooled deluxe class version of Starscream, which I never picked up, because why the hell would I want a deluxe class Starscream? You know, same reason why I feel like I don't want a deluxe class Ratchet. That would be kind of weak sauce. Well, anyway, looking at the side right over there, you can see nice details in the eyes. I really like that. Nice red paint. I like the gold. We get some nice silver right there as well. A lot of sculpted detail in just the head sculpt alone. I think it looks great. And I like how they kept with this, you know, the zigzag kind of theme that we see throughout on the figure too. I think that's a nice little touch. I really dig that. For some Starscream head comparisons, you can see the first version of Starscream right here. Does look goofy looking. He does have the light piping though, which is kind of neat. But yeah, in comparison, very, very goofy looking. And then you have the Revenge of the Fallen version right over there. So you can see the two of them. And this one doesn't look as bad. You know, they're two different Starscreams. They look fairly similar. Then we have the other Revenge of the Fallen Supreme class Starscream right there, looking pretty cool, and this has a light up feature and all that. So yeah, pretty neat for the comparisons. They all just look a little bit different. But anyway, back to this guy. I love the silver details that we're seeing right there. That looks awesome. Again, the plain mode had some really nice paint too, but looking at the gold bits right over here, get a lot of nice intricate sculpting, and I really dig that a lot. Some nice gunmetal. You know, there's parts where it can look a little gappy, but for the most part, I'm very pleased with it. I like how we get all these wires and everything. It still has his weapons attached right over there. The arms and the hands look really good, like that. Not looking too bad. On this side, you know, same thing as the other side, pretty much. Yeah, good looking arms. And the lower torso looks pretty good. He does have a PP hole right over there. That's a little bit funny looking, right? Yeah, that's the port that we saw earlier, I believe, so that he could be on a flight stand while in jet mode. Then you're just looking at the legs, so not too bad. I really like this plastic right over here. Yeah, it looks like they went with this gunmetal paint over the plastic anyway. Very pleased with that. That looks awesome. A lot of color variation on this figure. I really do dig it. And you can see that they use the landing gear as heels. I think that was a smart move. And here's looking at the back. Looking a little empty. He has negative space for the butt. And then you can see he does have a port right over here. And then he does have a little culo hole, doesn't he? If I remember correctly, there it is. Yep, I knew he had a culito. Yep, so you can get him on a stand right there if you'd like, or right there. 2 different sizes, so yeah, pretty cool. Now for articulation, you can rotate Starscream's head side to side, and you can get him looking upward just that much, but he won't look down at all, or there's no head pivot right there. You do get a shoulder joint that moves outward. This is just moving due to transformation. I don't think that really counts. You get full rotation right over here at the shoulder as well. You also get this bicep swivel, and then you get a hinge right over here at the bicep, and you get another hinge. So I don't know, you could kind of call that double jointed elbows, but this one right here is just really due to transformation, I think, anyway. You get rotation at the wrist without that popping off. You can rotate it and it'll move up and down, and then you get hips that move outward that far, and he will kick forward that much and back as well. And then you get a knee joint right here, and you also get another knee joint over here, and you get knee rotation, and then the toes can move down and they can't move up, and we don't get ankle pivot, just that rotation at the knee. Now to measure the height of this Starscream figure while in his robot mode, you can see that he's standing just at about 7.5 inches tall. And then for your Voyager class Starscream figure comparison, you can see the very first Voyager class Starscream that we'd gotten, and then we have the Revenge of the Fallen version, and then we have our new Studio Series right here. I really like this Revenge of the Fallen figure still. It was fun transforming him again. A very unique transformation for a Starscream with him splitting in half and everything. And it was a trip transforming this guy. I haven't transformed him in a while. I also have the G1 painted version of that up on the wall, but yeah, that's still kind of a fun figure, just not as good as these two. And then here's our new Studio Series Starscream. Next to what may be considered the very best movie Starscream figure is Revenge of the Fallen Supreme Class Starscream, which I still really like a lot. I love the choice that they made here about trimming him down just a little bit so he's not too wide. I mean, he's still fairly film accurate, I think, but yeah, not as wide as any of the other Starscreams. Still a really good Starscream figure. It held up so well that I think they re-released this as a masterpiece, right? Didn't they? And then comparing this new Starscream figure to another Studio Series figure, we have Leader Class Blackout, and I think they fit into scale pretty well together, but I do think this is kind of short for a Leader Class figure, but yeah, I gotta say I still like them both. And then here's Starscream next to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my video. I really do appreciate it, even if you watched it without the stop motion and everything. I didn't get the chance to do it today, just not enough time, but I really do appreciate you guys watching, and I also appreciate it when you guys hit the like button, leave your comments, and subscribe if you haven't already, as well as hit that notification bell. I really like this Starscream figure a lot. One thing I didn't mention earlier is that you can't really rotate the head and pose it looking upward. That's very tricky to do. And I also forgot to mention that you can, of course, store his weapon right there into the back, which is pretty nifty. And you can see I have the Figma stand right there in the colito. So I really like this figure a lot. Very fun to transform and pose. I really like both modes quite a bit, man. So I'm giving this a sud rating of I love it. And again, I want to know what you think, so please leave your comment in the comments section below. If you want to see a photo gallery of images, you can find it over at ShartimusPrime.net, as well as Shartimus merch over there. And if you want to stay in touch with me, you can follow me on the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links to everything in the description below. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Crispy.
Hey, new Shartimus Prime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.